Choosing the wrong town doesn't just change your weekend plans, it changes how you feel every single day. I've talked to people who picked a town because it looked nice online, only to realize a few months later that the pace, the vibe, or just the little everyday things didn't match what they actually wanted. And once you've settled somewhere that doesn't feel right, it's exhausting to adjust your life around it. So today, we're going to break down Bowmanville, Cobourg, and Port Hope, the real differences that actually matter when you're thinking about where to spend your time. Curious which town might feel like home for you? Follow and subscribe. We explore local towns like this all the time, helping you lean on local. Bowmanville, Cobourg, and Port Hope are all east of Toronto. They're all charming, smaller than the big city, and they all give you a bit more breathing room. But the day-to-day experience in each town is very different. The streets you drive, the weekend vibe, how busy the town feels in summer. These are things you can't fully understand until you spend time there. So rather than lumping them together, let's look at each one individually so you can really picture what life feels like in each place. Let's start with Bowmanville. Bowmanville has a busier, livelier feel than the other two towns. There's always something happening on the weekends, sports leagues for kids, new restaurants and coffee shops popping up, and small community events that make the town feel alive. Because it's growing fast, Bowmanville has a lot of newer areas and developments, which means streets and neighborhoods feel modern and fresh. That also means more options for day-to-day activities, gyms, shops, places to eat, local services. From a lifestyle perspective, Bowmanville feels like a town that's constantly moving forward. You'll see families out and about, lots of young people in general, and a general energy that makes it feel very connected. On the flip side, that energy can feel busy. If you're someone who prefers quiet and slower weekends, it might feel a little overwhelming. Streets get busier during events, and traffic can be noticeable compared to the smaller, older towns to the east. One of the fun parts of Bowmanville is how accessible everything is. The town is still compact enough to get from one side to the other quickly, but big enough that you'll discover new places regularly. Next, let's talk about Cobourg. Cobourg has a very different personality. It's slower, quieter, and has a strong sense of history. The main street feels like a step back in time, classic storefronts, small cafes, and a vibe that's perfect for someone who enjoys relaxed afternoons and slower weekends. The waterfront here is a major draw. Cobourg Beach is one of the nicest stretches along Lake Ontario in this area. And summer weekends attract visitors, which gives the town a lively feel for a few months. But outside of that, it's calm. Cobourg has a smaller town energy when it comes to shops, restaurants, and services. Less growth pressure compared to Bowmanville. That's great if you want predictability and charm. But it can feel a bit quiet if you're used to more options of things happening year-round. It's a town that rewards people who enjoy a steady rhythm, morning coffee by the waterfront, evening walks through historic streets, and a strong sense of community that's consistent and welcoming. Port Hope is in the middle of Bowmanville and Cobourg, and it has its own distinct personality. It's quieter than Bowmanville and Cobourg, and it leans heavily on old world charm. If Cobourg is calm and classic, Port Hope is like stepping into a storybook. Beautiful heritage buildings, tree-lined streets, and a slower pace that makes it feel like life moves a little differently here. One of the big things about Port Hope is how consistent its lifestyle is. There's less development pressure, which keeps the town feeling the same year after year. That can be amazing if you love stability, but it might feel stagnant if you crave new shops, restaurants, or events. Port Hope also has a strong small town arts and culture vibe. Galleries, local theater, and community initiatives are more noticeable here than in Bowmanville or Cobourg, which adds personality if that's something you care about. Now let's talk about practical things getting around. Bowmanville is the most centrally located of the three. It's closer to major highways and offers easier access to the surrounding region, which is why it often feels busier. If you like being connected but still want a town vibe, Bowmanville usually wins here. Cobourg and Port Hope are farther east. Travel times to larger centers are longer, which gives them a quieter pace, but also means you have to plan more if you want to do day trips or get somewhere quickly. From a lifestyle perspective, this affects weekend trips. How often do you go out, and even the rhythm of the town? Bowmanville moves faster, Cobourg is in the middle, and Port Hope is the slowest of the three. One of the biggest differences between these towns is how they handle growth. Bowmanville is still growing, new spots opening, events happening, lots of activity. That makes it exciting if you like change and variety. Cobourg grows slower, so it feels steady. You can count on things staying familiar, but there's enough happening to keep it interesting. Port Hope has very little growth pressure, which keeps it charmingly consistent. You can count on quiet streets, small town arts, and a sense of calm that doesn't really exist in the other two. To sum up who might vibe with each town, Bowmanville, great if you like a busier, energetic town, things always happening, a mix of modern life and town charm. Cobourg works well if you want a calmer, historic feeling, lively in summer, slower the rest of the year. Port Hope, ideal if you want quiet, old world charm, predictability, and a small town artsy personality. The key is choosing a vibe that matches your day-to-day life. You could love all three towns in theory, but one will feel right and the other's just okay. I've seen people fall for a town because it looked nice online, and then spend a few months realizing it doesn't match their rhythm, their weekend plans, or even how busy they like to feel day to day. Photos and videos can't show traffic patterns, how the streets feel in the winter, or how lively the town is in the summer. Spending real time or even just imagining your daily life in each town is the only way to really know which one fits. That's a deeper look at Bowmanville, Cobourg, and Port Hope. Each has a distinct personality, pace, and energy. The choice isn't about better or worse, it's about what fits how you want to live day to day. Thanks for watching. Make sure you hit that like, follow, and subscribe button to watch more videos. I'm Marlene Boyle, helping you lean on local.